It has been a while.
Mm-hmm.
The dog looks like he wants to be involved as well.
No thanks. I'm not.
All right, let's lock in. It's been a minute. Let's go. It's gonna take some re-getting used to in a way. All right. Hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is November the 15th. It is Wednesday of 2023. Sorry, I'll turn that volume down a little bit, I guess. So it's been a while since we've taken time out to talk about tennis, namely because we usually do so during majors and when it is a rainy day. And here in Mobile, or actually Dauphin Island, Alabama, it is a rainy day. We've been in quite a significant drought, to say the least.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
So it has rained the past 2 days. Yesterday we did our grocery shopping and such, and here we are today. All right. Carla, do you have any shout outs to begin?
Shout outs?
Shout outs?
To everybody. I mean,
Okay.
shout outs to everybody.
Weren't you just telling
Oh,
me?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I have a student, a very dedicated student, actually, who's improved her tennis game, in the past,
Year and a
year and a
half.
half.
And her name?
Julie Connery.
Yes.
And she asked me, she said, Carla, at some point, you all may want to talk about exercises to keep you in good tennis shape when unable to play due to weather or travel. I'm always looking for ideas to add to what I normally do. I guess the first thing I would think of is, for me, is maybe you always say to little Justin, shadow your strokes. You do it a lot. Shadow your strokes. I mean,
yeah. So the question is, and this was just prior to beginning. The question was, it's raining. What are some good things we can do to practice? So I like to remember myself as a child. My father, who is 85 years young, he's still an active player and coach to this very day. Still works with our kids. When we were little, we lived in California. It didn't rain much, and if it did rain, we would be like, "Oh, we get a break from tennis." Not that we really wanted a break, but we just figured that would be the case. Negative Batman didn't happen. A lot of the times we would do things such as ups and downs, as you know, getting the ball ups and downs. We would do downs, walking forward and backwards, left and right. And not that it really helps you necessarily hit the ball, but it helps you feel the ball. In other words, to control. But one of the main purposes for ups and downs is to understand that you don't have to move the hand really much at all to get the ball to go pretty briskly, nonetheless. Also, grip changing, so you can get your grip. Now, we had wooden rackets as kids, and many times we would saw the wooden handle off, so you would just have the grip, and we would say forehand, backhand, slice, serve. And we work on grip changing. So, hey, forehand, hey, backhand, you're on the run. You're just trying to reach out and snag the ball, hopefully type things. So we would work on things like that. We would work on tactics on a dry erase board or chalkboard. Hey, serve out wide, serve plus 2-3. These would be my potential spots, this type of thing. So there's a lot of things we can do tactically and ball control and feel wise at home in the rain. Needless to say, we can do a lot of fitness stuff, jumping jacks, push-ups. You can do ab work. You can do
jump rope was a big one.
Yeah.
I used to run up and down the ladders. So when I trained, when I lived with my coach full time and I trained, I remember him saying, just because it's raining doesn't matter. So he'd have a goal for me. I have to jump rope for a certain amount of time. I have to go up and down the stairs for a certain amount of time. I would hit outside of the building on the wall, wherever there was no rain. I would run a lot. That would be another thing, with and inside the area that I was able to run. Jumping jacks, I had to do a certain amount of push-ups, just a lot of exercise.
Indeed. As well, Carla, do you remember for the few years that we were in Montgomery, Alabama, when it would rain, there was a facility nearby that was a big covered, it wasn't like indoor, it was just covered and had like a cover over it. I think it was at one of the private schools somewhere. And we would go to that covering. And
it was a public school.
We would set up cones and anyway, so we would do like circuit training. Mm-hmm. We did
Matters.
we did the fitness training for a AAA minor league baseball team. Our two oldest boys, by the way, are doing well at the Air Force Academy. Our oldest son is about to graduate senior year from the Air Force Academy. Will be a commissioned officer in May in Texas, I think is his first kind of leg. Anyway, the next son, Christopher, will be a sophomore at the Air Force Academy. They're both there. Now. Or sophomore, so he'll be a junior next year?
Yes. Correct.
Okay, junior next year. Time flies. So we would go to this covering, and we would do tennis drills underneath the cover, right? So there's a lot of things you can do. It's
watch tennis too. I think it helps. Even as a coach, if you watch a lot of tennis, it helps you, get ideas.
Yeah.
I was watching a lot of the doubles right now, ATV finals. I think they're having their doubles.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can't really learn much there because the guys are playing so fast. It's a 1-2, whereas in the league world or women's league or even the men's league, even the 4-5s, they still have some rallies going on. So there's not really much to learn there, except that place your serve to the backhand and have the person, your partner at the net, poach immediately and put the ball away. 1-2,
Yeah, I mean, high-level doubles, wonderful, but there's a lot of serve +1.
It's a lot of serve +1 or go for the body a lot is what I saw. Now, I was going to say, if you have parents that were crazy like ours, they still had you playing tennis in the rain.
Hey, man, I got to hold up right here. Van Lee says, hey, tell Jay his football team sucks and his quarterback has small hands. The 49ers, though, I didn't watch last week's game. Aren't they like 6-2?
I have no idea.
Aren't they 5-2?
I don't watch football.
Aren't they 5-2?
I mean, I don't even watch my Giants unless they make it to the Super Bowl, just saying. But going back to the tennis, I mean, I recall my dad saying, take off your sneakers so they don't get wet. And we'd play on hard courts. He'd feed balls and we'd hit. But then again, it's terrible for your racket. So.
Or your string bed.
Or your string bed.
Anyway, but there's a lot of things you can do. And I'll end that segment with this. So, Julie, thank you for asking that. By the way, if there's anyone out there, and a lot of you won't see this till after it's live because it's spur of the moment. Usually we'll schedule it, a day or two ahead of time, but it was spur of the moment. So if you hear this not live later, which a lot of our Serbian viewers, a lot of our Serbian viewers will, or people in Poland, Ukraine, etc., just put it in comments. But there's a lot of things you can do, but I'm going to end it on this. One of the best things you can do as a rainy day or any day workout that you can do walking down the street at any point in time, and this pertains to the abs. At one point in time, I got up to 230 pounds. Long story short, as I got back down to my 145 or so, and I did a lot of that by walking and acting like someone was about to punch me in the stomach. So in other words, I always have my stomach muscles kind of crunched, right? And then, you got to be careful not to look like an idiot, walk around like this, but in other words, keep them crunched and hold it there as long as you can, 10, 12 seconds, and just hold it. And then throughout the day, do that incessantly as much as you can. And my six-pack came back within, 18 months or so. So I lost about 80 pounds. Not just that, but that was a big part to do with it.
The way you eat.
All right.
Yeah, I know. I've mentioned I was going to do exercise and I haven't.
All right. By the way, I do have a couple shout outs before we get into topic one, which will pertain to Novak Djokovic and the center match and the implications of the outcome, etc. But I do have a couple shout outs. Don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. A lot of you will catch this later. Remember, it is free to like and subscribe. And that's the only thing you have to do to qualify for all the free stuff that we're going to be giving out next year. I do want to give a shout out to Arturo Nieto with Technifiber and Lacoste, and as well as always, Doug Mock and Diadem Sports, and as well, Ivor Savage. Love you, my brother, the owner and CEO of Y-Tech Strings. Arturo, Technifiber, and Lacoste are new. So we are going to be giving out not only Diadem and Y-Tech stuff, but we are going to be also giving out Lacoste Medvedev shoes. We're going to be giving out Technifiber rackets, etc. So make sure you subscribe for that, because if I ask a random question and you answer it and you're subscribed, you might, because we might pick you, and if not, then So make sure to subscribe.
It's Arturo Nieto, you said?
Yeah, Arturo Nieto.
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 I'm guessing, yeah.
All right. So topic number one, since it's fresh in our minds, it just happened last night. Let's talk about just for a moment the Novak Djokovic and Jannik Sinner match. Yeah, something like that. And that
would crack me up.
Yeah, and not necessarily about the match and the breakdown thereof or the analysis, but more along the lines of the implications. Some would say there are implications. Oh no, Djokovic lost. Is he now vulnerable? And then the other would say, come on, man, it's 2 out of 3 sets. It's the end of the year. The Australian's coming. The Australian's upcoming. He's got to defend his title. He's trying to get 100 majors. I'm kidding, but let's keep adding to them. How much is he really how much did he really put into the match? I get it was a tight 3-setter. I'm not saying he didn't try after, like he beat Sonego to get the world #1 at the end. I'm not saying he coughed up a Sonego.
Like he lost because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm going to leave it to you in a second. But in my take, it's just my take. that Rublev said it best just after Djokovic beat him in the semifinals of Paris recently. Rublev said something along the lines of, if I had a wish, it would just be to not have to play him again.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if this is the Australian Open and Sinner ends up on the other side of the court against the GOAT, against the Djokovic, I really would. I could care less about what happened here. I'm gonna still ride with Nole all day because of where he is in his career and what he is playing for these days, and that's majors.
Yeah, I mean, good for Sinner, right? I really like Sinner. He's like one of the top guys I like. I've always talked about how I think he can be really good. He has a great game play since he was a little young boy.
So
has lived tennis, lived for it. I mean, he was homeschooled and everything. Great potential. I think their head-to-head, you asked me, it was 3-1 now. I always say to beat Djokovic, you have to do it at a Grand Slam. I think quite a few players have beaten him in, 2 out of 3. I think 3 out of 5 is where he's really tough, just because mentally he is a beast. Absolutely. By the way, again, you guys know he's not my favorite player, but I respect him a lot, and credit to Sinner. But again, I think you have to do it at Grand Slam. But I did learn something. So to all my haters, when they're like hating on me, I'm just gonna go like this, and I'm gonna laugh, and I'm gonna do what he just did, because they were booing him. And I didn't understand why they were booing him, but I guess there's another coach in Daphne, David Pankovic, I think is his name.
Yeah.
And he mentioned, because he was in Italy playing an Italian player, or was he playing an Italian player, something like that, he said. So they were booing him. Still, though, it was funny watching Djokovic sit there just, going like this, yes, bring it. He kind of reminds you of Medvedev, right? Medvedev does the same thing. He's one of those players that can channel the negative into a positive.
Yeah, they're very good at flipping the script on you.
Yes.
By the way, if we go to our analytics and see where the percentage of viewers are, say 28 days past when we do these, and something like 40% of our viewers are from Serbian players or Serbian residents. With that said, the person she was just indicating, David Pantovic, is a Serbian former player and as well the head pro at Daphne Tennis Complex in Daphne, Alabama. So the Serbian guys and gals out there, you have a fellow patriot out there that's very, very, very active in the game, to say the least.
And I was going to read his comment, because I guess I made a post of, I don't understand why they're booing him. Like, again, he's not my favorite guy, but I have much respect for him. And he says, he played in Italy against an Italian guy. Of course, they'll be against him. He says, I mentioned, I said, I totally get it. He said, I know Justin Carla Davis. He said, I know, but too much negative always about him. Like when he hits his racket, cameraman shows it 1,000 times. It's a simple brainwashing, just like in politics, because he says some things that are not allowed. I was with Djokovic many times. He's one of the nicest people ever. His brother stayed with me in the town in Serbia. People only know him from the media, and you know how that works. And that's very true. I hate the smashing of the racket. He said, he mentioned something about the Eastern players. Although let me find his comment, because I don't want to lose that one. Here we go. Okay, true. We are educated. Blah, 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 blah. No, I've lost his comment somewhere. Okay, here we go. Okay, 1,000 times. Where is that comment? I lost it.
It's okay, find it, because I have stuff to say as well. So while she's looking for that comment, I always like to rewind to the U.S. Open where the throat hack happened. Do you guys remember the throat hack? That's where the short-headed bozo line judge couldn't stick and move and get the hell out the way of the ball, and the throat caught her in the throat, or the ball caught her in the throat hacked her, and then she laid down on the ground like she was in cardiac arrest or something. The thing I'm trying to get at is, if you remember that, Djokovic, he didn't turn around and blast the ball and intend to hit the person in the throat. I know half of you, when you watch this, are going to yell at me, you anti-Djokovic, and that's all right. But the fact of the matter is, it was an accident. Now, do you remember when Sissy Boy, Sissy Pass, that Sissy Pass, Sissy Ass, the little Sissy Boy, the little flake, the little fairy? You remember when Sissy Pass was playing? He got all upset and threw his racket or hit a ball or smacked at something and inadvertently hit his dad, and his arm was bleeding. Do you guys remember this?
Yes, I
Do you
remember.
do you remember things like this that happens and nothing happens to that
And
player?
no one gives grief to
But
them.
then when it happens to Djokovic, for crying out loud, then he's out of here. And this is the thing. They did it to Djokovic so blatantly biased at the U.S. Open at the most intense of moments. He was definitely going to win the match, or it was close. I forget. Maybe I'm exaggerating.
No,
there.
it was like
but,
the first.
But it was
wasn't
a freaking
They
huge.
just started the match.
It was a freaking huge match. Could you imagine? It's like almost the intensity or the importance of that match as he was about to catch Nadal or surpass him, whatever it was. And find that little accident. It almost seems like this ball had a magnet in it, and the ball had a polar magnet, the opposite, in the lady's throat. So no matter, even if he hit it over there, it would still orb around and slap her in the neck. Because that shit was rap.
Dude, did you come up with that?
Dude, I was a ball boy. If anyone in the Mobile area remembers, when Point Clear across the Mobile Bay had an indoor enclosed facility. It was a beautiful facility. To the life of me, if Kenny Sands is out there, any of these other Mobilians, whatever happened to that beautiful covered court in Point Clear, I think there was two of them. Long story short, I was a ball boy one year. I was a ball boy. So I was at the net and I was on the towel. When you squirt next to the net, it was like an ATP, a Challenger, or whatever. And I'm at the net and this dude crams a serve. Fucking smacks me right in the temple. Blam! I'm like, oh, shit. But, I was like, oh, man, that's so cool. I shook it off. I'm like, yeah. So all I'm saying, I was like 9 years old and I got blasted in the face by an errant beastly serve right to the temple, and got up and was like, what's up? Love that. Let's go. And you can't tell me this, whatever she was, creature, wasn't acting a little bit too much with that throat hack. I think all the ball boys had to pass the test and said, no matter what happens, you got to fall out if Djokovic even walks near you.
All right, so
Anyway.
I found his comment. I was talking about the smashing of the rackets. I don't like when people. That's the one thing I don't like about players that smash rackets. He said, true. He said, but he's Eastern Europe. It's completely different. You can't box his emotions. That's why he's so good. Medvedev and Rublev, too, same thing. Emotions are what is keeping him going. Where Western world is more only business attitude, and then they go cry behind closed doors.
True.
They have to release the pressure somewhere.
Let's go.
So I said, I thought that was okay. That explanation wins compared to everybody's other explanations I've had.
Well, and he's Serbian.
Yeah.
And also, too, truth is the best medicine, right? Why would someone the likes of Djokovic, not just Djokovic, Tipsarevic, Jankovic, Ivanovic, Jiri, Kekmanovic, and the list goes on, why would any of them be, I guess you could say, censored with their own vernacular? Why? I mean, they've been bombed for centuries, and then especially the last 75 years. I mean, they've been just an absolutely war-torn country, and yet they're still putting out champions. Now, what is the problem with this? Here we are on the US of A. Who was the last GOAT or the greatest player that walked around?
Pete Sampras.
Pete Sampras?
One of my favorites.
I don't even want to hear erotic.
No, Pete Sampras is my ultimate favorite, number one. I made a list, I think Rajesh got mad at me yesterday, but because I didn't put Djokovic in there, but number one for me was Sampras. That's who I watched playing. That's who I grew up on the women's side was Steffi Graf at that point, which is German, not because I'm American. That's just who the reason why I play tennis was because of them. I love watching them play.
Agreed.
I know maybe Sampras, he wasn't like Agassi who had all that flash, but that's what I liked about Sampras, that I felt like he was a humble player.
Yeah.
Did we ever see him smash a racket ever? Can you tell me Sampras
question.
ever smashed a racket? We know he was an emotional guy. He cried a lot. He had a lot of things that happened in his life. But it's just, that would be the last, I would say, American GOAT. And then Serena would be in the female.
Yeah, that's a good take. That's a good question. Does anybody know if Pete Sampras ever blasted a racket? You always think of Pete Sampras, or at least when you watched him, regardless if you know his history, he just comes across as that kind of white collar, guy from, that's his persona. He just comes across as middle class. But anyway, also too, I mentioned Andy Roddick just a moment ago. Look, it's not that I'm not an Andy Roddick fan. Well, I'm definitely not an Andy Roddick fan. It's not that I don't like the guy. But when I watch him commentate on like the Tennis Channel, I don't know who's worse, Courier or Roddick, because they both are just hideously bad. So back to the racket smashing. So Djokovic, yes, has smashed rackets. Someone asked me the other day, has Roger Federer ever smashed a racket?
One time.
Yes, at Miami. I think he was playing Miami on the purple court, smashed the rackets. He might have even been playing Djokovic.
I don't know. But have you never seen Nadal smash a racket? I mean, how would you feel if Justin smashed the racket?
Look, I haven't, and I know you said I did one time, but that racket was already broken.
I'm talking about little Justin. How would you feel if he smashed the racket?
Oh, my son?
Right, you tear him up.
I'd be pissed.
What happened to Lily when she hit a racket on the thing?
She broke it and she had to pay for it.
Right. I mean, smashing rackets is no good. To me, I get the great explanation and everything. They got to let the anger somewhere. I don't know. Smack yourself, scream, yell. Do whatever, curse, whatever, but don't smash a racket because a lot of kids can't afford a racket,
Agree.
And I'm just sorry. I mean, we are middle class, and we do teach a lot of kids that can afford 1 million rackets. I mean, I even had a parent say that they're thinking about investing in indoor courts here. I mean, most of us can't afford a racket. It's it's hard. $200 plus, and people are smashing them like nothing.
Yeah.
Him of all people, though, from Serbia should understand that. How hard it is, tennis is.
I agree totally.
I just,
and so
that's the only thing I don't really like about him.
So I had this whole different segment written, and we'll go to it more focused here in a bit. But I don't mean to deviate, and this is off the top. Maybe I'll have to think so I don't, speak incorrectly. I didn't write this. So, hey, Jackson Sub-Zero, I got an American bully / pitbull and a cat chasing each other. Okay. But I don't mean to go geopolitical in a way. I was always taught as a child, and I mean sternly taught, and this was California, by the way, to never talk about race, religion, or politics, and depending where you are, sports. And I'll give you an example. We live in Alabama. Auburn and Alabama, 2 college football teams. It's like it's almost like a culture. If you like one, the other may not like you. And then if you like one, they may not like you. And I was going to say more like they want to, I got to be careful what I say. I always have a scapegoat to that because I graduated from University of South Alabama. So like, are you an Auburn fan or are you an Alabama fan? I'm just like, well, I graduated from South Alabama. So it makes it a little bit easier for me to get out of the equation, but never talk about race, religion, politics. However, just for a moment, let's look at the world in which we live today. Okay, you got the Ukraine conflict, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. You've got now the conflict in the Middle East. What I'm getting at is the world is really a difficult place right now. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, you see all the chaos going on
everywhere. Chaos. I mean, nowadays, if you run a red light and then someone sees you, they get out of the other line, come around, follow you, and say, "Hey, why'd you run the red light?" And the other person shoots you. This is the touchiness and the intensity of everyone that you meet. Hence why it's so important to remember to be kind, because everyone you meet is fighting a tough battle. And I'm now going to add on a sentence to this. So Plato out there, Plato, I love your quote, but Plato, I'm going to now add on a sentence to be kind because everyone you meet is fighting a tough battle, period. New sentence. Otherwise, they'll shoot you. I kid you not.
Back in the days, you used to do fist for fist. I remember in school, like a girl didn't like you or whatever, you took that out.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Later on, you met at a certain time.
Let's go.
Now it's like, don't even look at somebody wrong. I remember when I was a kid, I was a big fighter. Like I was a big. I'm from New York, so that's in us. In New York, you have to fight a lot. And back in the 80s and 90s, that's what we had to do. And I used to give dirty looks to people, and I used to be like, "What's up? Come on." Now you do that, you are dead. You are dead when you least expect it.
Yeah, and how does this wrap into Novak Djokovic? Because he's the vintage soldier all up in your shit, and he's like, what? And the world hates him because of it. But surely geopolitically, it's because they're tired of getting bombed. Anyway, back to the world today in which we live. So tennis, for me personally, I don't know about how it is to all of you, but tennis is like an international language. It's something that brings people together. Let's look at tennis in a more broad sense. It's an international community. You can be a tennis player from Antarctica. You can be a tennis player from Africa. You can be a tennis player from Alabama. And ultimately, you will see eye to eye, even if it's your arch enemy on the court. And this guy beats you every time, and he doesn't like you because you beat him all the time. You still will find a way to shake hands at the net, right or wrong.
Correct.
Okay, so we look at the world we live in today. We got wars and death and innocent people and children and all these people just, all in a really dire situation. And we turn to tennis to be able to feel, here's my niche, here's my nutshell. You know, by the way, from a personal, this is me personally, not even, I'm married to her, yes, but I'm speaking in my own behalf right here. If it wasn't for tennis, what would I personally do? Raised in it, born in it. My dad coached. Stringing rackets is very young. That all I've known has been around the tennis community. And if it wasn't for the tennis community, I don't know what personally I would do. I don't know how I don't know anything but the game of tennis, you know? And I take that with a lot of passion and a lot of sincerity. So when we go and we watch tennis, so in other words, we play it, we teach it, we live it, we wash our kids' clothes because they play it. It's all the time tennis, 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 tennis. And then we actually have time to watch it. Okay, let me watch Holger Rune playing Sissipas. Okay, let me click it on.
That didn't really happen because Sissipas.
I'm making some shit up. So now, I gotta watch Holger Rune smash his racket and tell his mother to leave. I gotta watch Sissipas blast his racket and tell his dad to get lost. And I gotta watch Marion Bartoli empty the box. And what I'm getting at, I gotta watch Kyrgios jerk off to the umpire. I mean, at what point do I say these people are not ambassadors for the game? At what point do we say, you know what? I don't want to watch this. Let me cut it off. And Carla said it best last night. I said it amazingly. We were watching the Djokovic center match, and people were commenting like, oh, man, Djokovic is vulnerable. He's vulnerable. Center's got him, you know? But by the way, before that match started, wasn't Djokovic like 3-0 head-to-head against center? By the way, isn't this 2 out of 3? By the way, isn't this the end of the year? By the way, at the Australian Open, do you think the same shit will happen? No. And if it does, great. Then we'll talk then. But now? Okay. I lost my train of thought. Whatever.
Anyways, if you want to watch pleasant tennis, that's why when I see here's another one I'll give you, Lavina, and then I read a comment like, when I play Russian players, I imagine myself being
propaganda.
Soldier. I'm like, come on.
Propaganda.
I'm trying to watch tennis. I didn't give a shit about your politics.
Propaganda.
Like, take that elsewhere. I respect your opinion. That's your opinion. Don't do that shit on the tour. I mean, we don't want to see that. You can watch the news for that. You can hear the radio for that. I mean, it's all over us, and you got to go watch it in tennis.
Yes,
it's so stupid.
Exactly. So, and also too, speaking about Svitolina and Kostyuk and some of these Ukrainian players that have used the conflict there, you know, they don't want to come out and say the truth that, you know, hey, you know, you said for years you weren't going to expand, and you said for years you were going to come knock on the doorstep, but then you lie. They don't want to get into the reality of it. They don't want to get into, sorry, I'm going to rewind, geopolitics, but tennis is, to those that are ambassadors and stewards of the game, tennis is the nucleus for your life. Okay. I'm speaking in my own first person. Again, if all I do is what I do, and I'm very lucky to do what I do as a way to survive, and I'm passionate about what that thing is, and then I come home and I write, 25 pages of notes to share it with you, and then I have to watch people smash their rackets in order to get details. It's just like the world's too tough of a place. Don't smash your racket. Just don't. The other day we were back in the woods at our club and found a couple rackets deep in the woods smashed. And I'm being positive and funny about it in a way. For what? Like some 50-year-old dude that got pissed off because he didn't win a doubles match? Like, what? Someone's got an anger problem, bro. I mean, come on. If you're a 50-year-old dude, you throw a racket in the freaking woods and smash it, you can't be married because your wife would kick your ass. She would kick your ass. Carla, would you not beat my ass if I threw a brand new racket in the woods at my age? Carla would be like, smash. I'm gonna beat you. What? She would clean my car.
I've seen Justin throw rackets, but not smash.
Yeah.
We just laugh. We would throw it over the fence. We're like, okay.
Smash rackets. The world's tough enough. Be kind, because everyone you meet is fighting a tough battle. And if you do want to smash a racket, right before you smash it and it implodes on the ground, stop, put on the brakes. No. And put it in a donation bucket to some of our students. Fact. Save us all the heartache. Jeez, disgusting. Okay, anyway, let's finish the Djokovic discussion. Jose P, what's up, bro? What does he say? Or losers that hook line calls in midweek in 3.5 matches. Yes, so Jose P, by the way, this is so true.
Oh, I see this a lot.
Yes, this is so true.
I even see it in my clinic. Sometimes I just shake my head.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fun clinic. And they're like, I can't tell that's in or out. I'm looking at them like
then
this
it's good.
is a clinic.
Then it's
I'm like,
good.
just call it good.
Just call it good.
It doesn't matter. You're not winning anything here.
Hey, say Jose P. Did you ever play with I think what was it? Hexagon X from YTEX we sent Jose P.
It wasn't Jose
I don't
P.
recall.
I don't think it was Jose P.
By the way, I'll do a free give out now. Okay. So check this out. I'll tell you how to. I'm just throwing this off. Okay. So we just added Technofiber and Lacoste to our sponsor for the show and our tenants. Thank you, Arturo. What's up, Arturo? So if the first person that answers this question, you can apply
Sub-Zero
$30 gift certificate towards anything on Technofiber, the website. So you have to go to Technofiber USA. If you see any item there, $30 or less, I'll get it and ship it to you. If it's anything more, then deduct that from the total. Or Lacoste. Now, Lacoste is just the tennis stuff. So you can't go, this is a hat that Florence Chan sent me. This is the Djokovic hat, but she sent me that because she sends me one every time he wins a major. But here's the question. And if anyone answers it, no matter if it's now or later, $30 gift certificate to either Technofiber, Lacoste, the tennis side, rackets, tennis apparel, YTEX strings, or Diadem. Are you ready? Okay, drum roll, here it goes. I've asked this question before. Shouldn't be a tough problem. Okay, name our 5 children. First names. I don't know, whatever. Just name our 5 children.
Made it tougher.
Remember that.
How old are they?
Yeah,
that would have been better.
Someone's going to get that. Okay, anyway, $30 gift certificate, Technofiber, Lacoste, YTEX strings, or Diadem. Just find the item. If it's $30 or less, I'll pay it entirely, pay the shipping, and send it to you. If it's anything more than that, just take that away from it, and then we'll go from there. All right, fair enough. Okay.
Stop subbing.
So to finish the Djokovic, Carla and everyone, are you worried that the Australian Open will not be beneficial for Novak Djokovic because he just lost in 2 out of 3 sets in a preliminary round robin grouping play at the ATP Finals?
No. So Julie just sent Jonathan, Christopher, Lily, Gabby, and Justin.
Julie won it. Boom. Yep, there you go, Julie. Let's go.
Good job, Julie.
Let's go.
I know what she's got to do with 30.
Yeah. So Julie, you know what to do. Julie is a member and the same person we started the show talking about. So Julie,
just in case you guys don't believe me.
Yeah, $30 too is the same thing as a racket stringing. So that could be a free racket stringing, basically.
Just in case you guys don't believe me.
Yeah, she is. Proof is in the pudding. Yes, and she subscribed too. I know. So anyway, so again, we do these type of random give outs often. So just make sure you're subscribed, because let's say it wasn't Julie and it was someone else, and then I went back and it was like current subscribers and it just said visitor, then it doesn't happen. So anyway, great win. And Julie, just because I know you personally, if you want to make that a racket string free, it costs the same amount. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Anyway, is Djokovic vulnerable now because she lost?
I think I have a bigger chance winning the lottery than I do going against.
Yeah.
So at the Australian Open.
Can you poll question something for me to squash the topic?
Mm-hmm.
Poll question. Carl's going to put it up. I want to see your answers. Poll question is no. Dog and cat. All right, we're good. The tripod's jacked. Okay, is
hold on. Let me
do poll question. Be careful, don't mess anything up. Okay, is Novak Djokovic vulnerable at the US Open or the Australian Open because he lost to Sinner just then? Let me pick this up because this is a catastrophic break.
The Australian Open. Oh, and then you almost brought down the computer. Novak vulnerable at the Australian Open because he lost to Sinner.
Is he vulnerable?
Let's see. Start poll.
All right.
Not at all, Justin. This is the end of the year. Exactly. Normally I don't even watch the end of the year stuff.
Yes.
Because I'm always like, players are tired. I mean, you got people like Novak, give you an example that I didn't move the table. You did.
Yeah.
You did though. That, they put all their energy into the Grand Slams. So how much more energy do they have I think he just did it probably to make sure he was number one. And he is.
Well, and not to make it look like a Senego.
Yeah, he made sure he sealed the deal with his #1 ranking.
Yeah, the Sonego was blatant, and I know most of you in the chat now, and Gene's in South Africa for crying out loud, so I know it's late there. But the Sonego was when Djokovic had to, I forget what tournament. It was a small tournament, 500, I think, or maybe even a 250, and he had to.
It was
win,
a 500.
He had to win one more match or whatever, or play the tournament and win X amount of matches within the tournament to solidify the record for the most weeks at #1 historically. And he beat, I think, was it Borna Coric? I think he beat Borna Coric in one round, and then surpassed it. And then he played Sonego. Who? Raducanu who? Sonego who? Huh? Who? He played Sonego next. And then, Sonego beat him. And then, the conspiracy theory is, well, duh. And that's when Sonego jumped up into like a seeding, and he started to get more favorable draws. Anyway, I don't think he necessarily pulled a Sonego, but I'm willing to ascertain that it wasn't far off. And he still kept it close.
Iron 26 says Sinner's impressive right now, but what is more impressive is the end of the years, and Novak's still playing after insane records, 400 week #1 and 24 Grand Slams.
That's a great comment.
Well said.
I do want to ask Iron 26 a question though. Do you, as a fellow, I'm guessing Djokovic fan, for me, big one, do you think it's in Djokovic's interest to even show up and get into a reset battle like this with the Australian Open looming? And so the reason why I asked this is we have a whole segment written upon this. And Djokovic is what, 38?
36.
36, 38, somewhere
36.
in there?
You're 10 years older than him, about to be.
So, the Australian Open looms. It's close. And Australian Open a couple of months away, and he has to defend a title. And he is by far, in a way, playing for major count at this point.
Right.
So you can't tell me that this late in the year, whether or not you gave 50% and still kept it tight with Sinner at the ATP finals or not, 36, 38-year-old body is a little bit more prone to injury than the 22 or 23-year-old or 28-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Time and tide wait for no man. So do you think, Iron 26, that maybe his team should look at the fact that I'm a $100 million athlete, $200 million athlete, prize money alone. Why don't we just stay fresh on the practice court? Why don't we just go back to Serbia, wherever? Why don't we just stay fresh? Why don't we hire a few up-and-coming players? Ben Shelton, by the way, we got a comment about this guy earlier. This guy hasn't done anything. He's just a young player, and he's like plastered over the U.S. TV. I have no faith in that dude, man. I mean, come on, man. Ben Shelton, who? Okay, so he's got ties to some U.S. tennis names, but what?
He's got much to prove.
Huh?
He's got much to prove.
Who?
He's got a lot to prove.
Like Raducanu who and Bill Shelton to start dating. Because what?
You don't like Ben Shelton?
It's not that I don't like him, but he's like the talk of the propagandized Western.
You know why he's the talk?
What?
Because we haven't had any. I'm not saying I talk about him because I don't. I think he has a lot to prove. I mean, he did a little bit something at the U.S. Open, but there's not enough for me to say, oh, this is the next guy. USA hasn't seen a male American player do anything. Look at Taylor Fritz. He's a little wimpy. He's always hurt. He's your typical American player that always gets hurt. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry
I offended anyone.
I got a forehand.
But it's true. He's your typical American player that gets
hit the ball hard.
That gets hurt.
Hit a forehand every time.
I mean, what you got?
Don't worry about playing the net.
Tiafoe that has one of the ugliest
backhand volleys with two hands.
Tiafoe that has the ugliest forehand. He's a fighter. You got to give him that. But
okay,
is he American tennis? Geez, I would hope not.
Okay, now look, you just said Tiafoe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tiafoe, personally, a big fan. Love his story. Father Jamaican, worked at a club and busted his ass and gave his son an opportunity to play. Now, because you said the big Foe, love that man. Love him. Let's go, Foe. LeBron on him. So let me ask a poll question, Carla. Can you check this poll question, please?
So I'm going to end this one.
Yeah, in that one, it was 100% to none. So 100% of you said that Djokovic is not vulnerable after losing to Sinner.
Okay.
Next poll question. What was I saying? I forgot.
We were talking about Shelton Tiafoe.
Oh, yes. Okay. Poll question. If you had to choose between Tiafoe and Ben Shelton on your fantasy team to win the most matches out of 10, who do you choose? Okay. So Tiafoe plays a random 10 people, ATP top 100. Okay. Ben Shelton comes in the mix, random top 100, 10 matches. Who wins more matches? I'm taking the big foe all day. Because look, if you're his age and you're all talking about, what's up, look at my abs, man, I'm chill. He's no different than Sissy Boy Sissy Pass. Okay? Distraction, worried about himself, self-interested, self-motivated.
I used to love Sissy Potts when he came out. You know, I said, here's my son who has the same hairstyle, one-handed backhand. And then he lost love for the game. He lost love. Everybody's like, the Greek who's poetic. And the girls like him. And he's got style. And he lost that love and that hunger that makes champions.
Who? Sissy Potts?
Yes.
So Badosa.
No, but before that, I feel he lost the love of the game before Badosa. That was just an extra push. And one thing we learn in tennis is there are different types of coaches that bring you up in the game. There's the coaches that introduce you to the game, the coaches that, you know, clean up your technique, the coaches that get you match ready, the coaches that give you believe and mentally get you ready, and then the coaches that have experience out there, you know.
Don't forget about one category, though. The coaches that use the player as a way to make them be showcased. Yes,
I'm talking about
and the news
but I'm talking
media.
About there's a stage for everybody, right? There's a stage. It's like us. Like I'm dreaming if I'm gonna little Justin's gonna stay with us for the rest of his, you know what I mean, of his tennis career. Sissy Potts needs to realize that it's time to get somebody else that cares about him, that can help him in the tennis game, and not have his dad influence his game.
Do you think that Sissy Potts finally realized, as well as his father, that Patrick Mouratoglou was nothing more than a person using him to better themselves? Don't you think that?
Well, it didn't help him. It didn't help him. It didn't help either. I mean, he needs to. It's like, here's Donald Young. Here's an example of Donald Young.
Parents were
through his whole career. That's very rare to have a parent take you all the way. Very rare. It happened with Graf. Her dad was there, but I think even at the end, her dad kind of left. Monica Seles, same thing. It's very rare to find.
Don't forget about Bartoli.
Hingis, I think Hingis.
Bartoli's another one.
But very rare.
What about Camila Giorgi? There's a lot of pro players with parents around.
But she still had coaches around. What I'm saying is that it's time for him to realize, like Coco Gauff did, that hey.
Now Djokovic's dad's involved, but
I'm talking
Djokovic's dad has always delegated authority to his team.
You have other coaches, and he needs to maybe tell dad, hey dad, I'll still send you the money, no problem. You still get money from me, but let me get maybe somebody else, somebody different that's not worried about looking good on camera or something. A coach that really wants him to improve and change things in this game. And if he doesn't do that, he's gonna get stuck and gonna get worse. I mean, look at Shapovalov. He's stuck. He's worse than when he started. Look at what's happening to Felix Auger-Aliassime. There's something that has to change. Just saying.
Okay, so you mentioned FAA, Felix Auger-Aliassime, the Canadian player. So, you know, since we started the show 5-6 years ago, we've covered Felix, right? I remember when we first saw him playing juniors before we started the show, we were like, you know, this kid carries himself well. He has a very appealing look. He's very smooth. He's calm. He's collected. He has the right stuff in terms of his sportsmanship, his outward, the charisma he kind of emanates, right? He had that feel of a cream of the crop pro, but Felix Auger crept into that, you know, 17 to 22 in the world and kind of hung there. So my question to everyone, I'd love to hear people's takes on this. Why is it that Felix Auger-Aliassime was on the rise, left Chapo, they used to sleep on the same couch, Shapovalov, who, see ya, Raonic, who, see ya, and then he keeps climbing, and gets wedged in at that, you know, 18 to 21, 22 spot, namely around majors when he's getting that 19 to 22 type seeding, which hurts him. Why is it that he has never gone from, say, the top 18 in the world, maybe have it a few spots off, to the top 5 or top 8? Why?
For me, he's a steady player. He has all the tools, but there's not that one weapon.
There's no weapon.
You need that one weapon. So he's all around complete. Volleys, serve, shots, complete. But there's not that one shot that you can say, ooh, watch out. Like, you know, with Djokovic, there's many, actually, and that's why he's won many slams. Same with Federer, same with Nadal. There's many, right? That's what makes them so better than the other guys, because there's many weapons, not just one. But I remember, like Serena, like, you know, her serve. Watch out for her serve.
A lot of free points.
Davenport, flat shots. She would hit
A lot of free
based
points.
on shots, you know.
Even James Blake with the forehand.
I mean, Graf, you had the slice. Yeah. Watch her backhand slice. You know, there was always that Becker, the net. There has to be
serve.
There has to be something that's a weapon, and he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, there's not that one thing that's like if he gets it, it's his. It's just like it's a little timid. You know, there's that short ball to the forehand. Let me be a little bit reserved here. Oh, there's the easy backhand volley up the line for the winner. Let me just go cross court. It's there's just that little bit of reluctance to nail the nail into the coffin with one shot. He's a little bit reluctant to kind of ease off.
If he would have been a women's tennis player, it would have worked out for him. But because he's a men's tennis player, and the men's game has got to have that weapon. In women's tennis, he could be a Caroline Wozniacki.
Yes, but
you know what I mean?
That might be a little hurtful. And it works. But yes,
I'm just sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. It's true.
Okay, shifting gears for a moment to fitness. The fitness segment, not only just because it's a tennis player, not only because we're human beings, but just fitness as a whole. So when I was young, very young, my father, again, I mentioned him before, he used to always say, it's very easy in terms of fitness to go from point A to point B. In other words, A being, you know, your most fit, B being not quite as fit, C being not quite as fit as not. So in other words, we're going down the slippery slope, right? So fitness segment, the moral of the story here, and we'll discuss, is it is very easy to go from fit to not so very fit, to go from not so very fit to, oh no, we're really not getting fit, to wow, we're way out of shape. It's very easy to go down that slippery slope. In retrospect, it's very hard to go from the bottom of that slope that we just slid down back to the top for multiple reasons, age, our bodies and mentality and kids and all this shit, right? So I say this as a way to bring up Nick Kyrgios. And you're probably like, man, I don't waste any time on Nick Kyrgios. Man, I've seen him jerk off in water bottles and all that. I've seen it all. I don't want to talk about this bozo. The only reason why I bring it up is because the other day we came across a picture of an article that was Nick Kyrgios. Carla, do you have the picture? I sent it to you as a picture message. Now, I say this, and not to pick on anybody, but because, as we spoke about earlier, the world's a really tough place to live in these days. You know, there's fast food restaurants popping up on every corner, and no one pays any attention to fitness and health anymore. And they just want a smartphone and instant gratification. They don't want to work for it. They want to give in to them. So with that said, Carla, show the picture of Nick Kyrgios recently. Okay, Ostapenko. Oh, he kind of looks like Ostapenko right here. Ostapenko. Can you show that one more time? Can you show that one more time?
I was shocked, actually.
Okay, Puff Daddy.
Because he's a really tall guy.
Okay,
it's very hard for tall guys to gain.
Now, I did a little research. See, this is him as a child, and no disrespect, I'm not picking on the child. I'm just saying. So, Nick Kyrgios on your left is him as a child, and Nick Kyrgios on the right is as of a couple days ago. Why do I say this? First of all, fitness is everything in the game of tennis. Everything. Footwork, how you play. Are you getting to the ball on time? And sure, you're not going to get to the ball on time every time. But, you know, if we can play the percentages and let me keep the ball in front of me. Let me meet the ball out front 75% of the time. And my opponent's doing that, 65% of the time. Okay, I'm offensive. They're defensive. Let me go ahead and get this dub, right? Nick Kyrgios has all the talent in the world. Now, I'm beginning to think that it's no more has. No more Nick Kyrgios has all the talent in the world. Now I'm going to go into the past and say preemptively, Nick Kyrgios had all the talent in the world. Do you understand the difference? Nick Kyrgios has all the talent in the world. But you know what? Now 50-50. If you had a choice between Tiafoe or Shelton, who would win the most out of 10 matches? 50-50. 50-50. Good. So it's a split decision there. I look forward to seeing what's going to happen next year in 2024. Let's go, Big Foe. Big Foe. Tiafoe. Let's go. Tiafoe. Big Foe. Let's go. It's a chant. You're going to bring it to a sign at the stadium. Like, what's up? Okay. Don't forget Jamaica, homeboy. Big Foe. Let's go.
Jamaica. I thought he was.
His dad was Jamaican. His dad moved here and
from Jamaica. I thought it was African.
No, his dad was Jamaican, wasn't he? His dad wasn't Tiafoe's dad Jamaican?
I thought it was African.
Okay, well, I might sound like an idiot. I think his dad was Jamaican, moved here, worked at a club.
Africa.
Maybe I have the country wrong. I think it's Jamaica. I don't know though. Let's go, folks. Okay, so if you look at Kyrgios when he was young, he was chunky kid, right?
Mhm.
Am I right or wrong? He was a chunky kid. If you look at him in the past couple of days, he's got a little bit chunky, right? So he was able to go from chunky to slim as a youth,
Yeah.
but it's much harder as an adult, right?
It's much easier as a man. He can do it. I'm just saying. Guys
Okay.
lose like 10 pounds in a day. He can do it. All he's got to do is watch his diet.
Okay, let's just get done with this segment. Let me ask you this question. Is
Factual.
Nick Kyrgios, does he have all the talent in the world, or did he have all the
I
talent
think
in
he
the
have.
world?
I think that time has passed him.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's in past
He was
that
going
time.
the right direction, and then Djokovic brought him back to life.
Yeah, there is,
and then it just kind of poof, disappeared from there.
There's only so much all night partying you can do. There's only, and here's the thing too.
Is the girlfriend still with him? Because if I was the girl, I'd be like, I don't know.
Well, and that's a good question too. So the thing is even girls are privy to this. So Nick Kyrgios, he's the hot bad boy and all this stuff. Even though I never thought he was really hot, honestly.
Not hot.
And I'm the first person to tell you he's handsome.
Not.
Like Feliciano Lopez, handsome dude. Give me some more. What's his name?
Martin Fucsovic, handsome.
Martin Fucsovic, yes, the
Berdych,
Hungarian player.
handsome.
Berdych, yes, handsome guys, but him just ain't happening. So he brought out this bad boy attitude. But the thing is he burnt this girl, the next girl, the next girl, the next girl, and all of a sudden all the girls like, fuck that. I want nothing to do with this guy. Now he's the Pillsbury Doughboy and he's to team up with Ostapenko. So my question is Nick Kyrgios done at the top of the game, or does he still have potential to be in the top of the game? And by the way, define what you think the top of the game is.
28.
What is the top of the game in your opinion? Is the top of the game top 100, top 500, top 200, top 50, top 10, top 5, top 1? At one point in time, we could have said Nick Kyrgios could be number 1 in the world. And if you look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself that question, at one point in time in the past 10, 12, however many years, if you didn't think Nick Kyrgios could be number 1 in the world, you're lying. And then number 2, if you don't think that during that time frame you watched him as he was younger making these stupid buffoonish mistakes, if you still didn't then think, oh, he can still do it, he can still do it. I remember John McEnroe saying, I wish I could coach him. He can still do it. But now, next gen who? Next gen who? I think it's over.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Next topic, and this is a good one. We've talked about this before, but let's talk about the end of the year and pro tennis. ATP, WTA, whether men, women. If we look at the events at the end of the year, let's name a couple of them. Paris, the Paris Masters, the WTA finals, the ATP finals, Labor Cup. I think
that was way before, months ago.
Yeah, they took out the Davis Cup. I'm a Davis, by the way. She's a Davis. They took out that and they added what? The ATP Cup or the Billie Jean Cup or something.
The Billie Jean Cup is a women.
How many of you put any weight in the end of the season? And that's why we talked about Djokovic Center at the beginning. How much weight do you put in what happens on the pro tours, men and women's respectively, at the end of the year?
Not much.
Okay. By the way, speaking of the end of the year, there used to be this Asian swing, like China was the thing, right? And then Shuai Pang, the female Chinese player, spoke out against one of the government officials for China, and then she hasn't been seen from, and all of a sudden the Asian swing stopped. Has anyone heard from Shuai Pang?
Well, she came out saying she was all right, but everybody
since then.
Yeah, we're like, they don't know if it's true. Is someone forcing her to say it? You never know. It's a communist country, so you never know. Mark B said at Mike Tyson podcast he will win before he retires, win a Grand Slam before he retires. Nick Kyrgios said that.
That's a great comment, Mark.
No, that's what he says.
Well, yes, but so what's one of the drills we do with our students? And Mike Tyson, right? So Mike Tyson was one of my, if not the, and I think for me the favorite fighter ever, boxer wise. Why? Because I was like 9 and 10. I would run home and we would be like, Tyson's fighting. Tyson was like the Jordan of boxing. Late 80s.
He had the appeal.
Yeah, he had
the appeal. There's those players that they just have that appeal and magnetize you.
He had that streetness, and then he had that little voice, and he had Robin Givens, he had the beauty.
With the little voice.
He was rolling with Tupac. Oh God, can you feel me? He was like, he was like Thug Life. He was like, let's go. And I resonated with that a lot. I resonated with it. So Tyson for me was everything, man. Love Tyson, but he had a workout. I don't tell you where I learned it. The workout, but there was a workout I learned, and it was called the Mike Tyson workout. So Mike Tyson, and if any of you can do this, I tell you what, If any of you can complete this workout, whether you watch this now or 10 years from now,
a video though.
if you would have to video it.
Yeah, I wouldn't
If
believe you.
if any of you can complete this video or complete this task without editing it, believe me, and I'll find out. I'm good at figuring out if something's edited. If you can video yourself doing the Mike Tyson workout and finish it, I'll give you $100 towards Technifiber, Ytex, Diadem, or Lacoste. $100, straight up, no questions asked. Immediately payment. And those of you that are 5K fan, you know we don't play with that shit too. What's up, Mike Walker? Can't wait to bet with him this year.
Oh, I'm still waiting on my. I'm gonna make money because
let's go.
Raducanu, we got that bet going.
Raducanu, who? Okay, so the bet is this. Here's how the Mike Tyson workout goes and what we incorporated on the tennis court. So Mike Tyson, he would get down on the ground and do one push-up. So you would start with one push-up, up, stand up. So you're on your feet, you get down, do one push-up, stand up, take one breath. Get down and do two push-ups. Good money push-up, like flat chest all the way down. You know, if you had a fist, don't let your chest touch. You know, no belly on the ground, like straight money push-ups. Okay.
I got to like.
She sees me do. Look,
I got to like. I think we did it with Jonathan. I got to 11.
I got to 17.
11, and my arms were shaking.
And then in the best shape of my life, which is where I learned this, we'll go there. But I got to 19. I started shaking it like 2 or 3 in. So I almost completed it. I had a standing ovation with all the brothers though. Okay, so I was the only white boy that they came and got to do it anyway. So I felt pretty happy. And then furthermore, I got further than everybody else. So I felt pretty good about it. But the here's how it goes. Okay, you stand up and your goal is to get to 20 push-ups. Okay, but in order to get there, you start with one. You get down one push-up. Money, good stuff. Stand up, then get down to 2. Good one, straight back. Stand up. Then you get down to 3. Boom. Get up and do 4. Take a breath. 1, 2, 4. Up. Next. But you can't take a bunch of time out. You know,
no,
you're just getting that breath. You can't stop. And the goal is to get to 20. So 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 + 5, all the way to 20. It ends up being like 220 something on push-ups. It's rough. So personally never completed it, and I'm pretty cocky about my fitness level, even at 46. What's up, birthday in 4 days? What's up, November 20th, 20 de November? Let's go, 46. 46 who? Rakan who? Here it goes who? Ostapang? Oh, okay. So if you can do that and film it, too, as where either you do it in person, where is Stefan Izovic, my Serbian brother over there?
I don't know, man.
Used to dunk on his ass.
I think he would just walk over you.
Yeah, I'll dunk on Stefan.
One leg step.
Let's go, Serbia. Let's go.
And he looks like he's about 7 feet. One step.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Stefan Izovic in Serbia, I will dunk on your ass, bro.
And he's younger than you by
I don't
like
care.
15 years or
I'm
something.
sending shit to the bleachers. Got you, bro. Got you, Stefan. Okay, so anyway, if you can do that, mad respect for sure. But how did we incorporate that into the tennis world? So we get in front of the students right in front of us. Boom, we're at the baseline, facing the baseline. They're right in front of me, right at the center hash mark. Okay, I start with one ball, but not a ball sitting right there so they just turn and hit, but way over there. 1, way out there, split step, come back. Give me that split step there. Boom. And then 2, 1, way over there, 2, boom. Come back, split step. And then it's 3, 1, split step, 2. They got a split step every time in the middle. So 1, come back, split, 2, come back, split. I might even throw them a short ball, cut it off at an angle, X pattern, split, hit, and then we go to 20. So by the time you get to 20, it's like 1, 2, 3, oh my gosh, it's brutal. And there's been a handful of people to complete that on the first try.
Yes.
And one of them was a 58-year-old gentleman, by the way, students, young, less.
With a hip replacement.
With a hip replacement. And I gave him the really stretched out version. He played doubles, so I didn't even include the doubles outies out there. Pulled it down.
Lily did it twice.
Let's go.
She had to do it with another student. She did it twice just to help them out.
And better yet, if anyone that ends up watching this is in the Mobile area and you want to try to complete that, bet that. I'll put the same money on the table with tennis balls, and you get in front of me and you get through it, I'll give you the same $100 gift certificate to Technifiber, Lacoste, Ytex, or Diadem, or as well 5K. We do have our own stuff too. Okay, anyway, shifting gears. How much weight do you put in anything at the end of the year? Now, Gene Swart just said out there a moment ago that, you know, end of the year, long year, whatever. What's up, Gene, by the way? Hopefully college is going well for you in South Africa. How's your mom, your brother, by the way? Anyway, how much weight do you put into the ATP Cup? How much weight did or do you put into the Davis Cup or the rendition now? How much weight do you put into the WTA finals, especially since it used to be in China and now it's not because of Shuang Pei? Oh no, I hope you're okay. ATP finals going on now. Okay, all right. Didn't lose any sleep over the whatever Paris. Oh, Djokovic played Dimitrov, huh? Baby Federer, who? Huh? He's still playing?
It's okay.
Dimitrov still playing?
Hold on, guys. Let me stop my interview.
Damn.
It's okay.
Oh, you
Dimitrov.
crying? I'm
It's
so
okay,
sorry.
Dimitrov. It's
You're
okay.
Federer. Federer cried too.
It's okay.
It's okay, Dimitrov.
You're my bitch.
It's okay. Damn. Cry, baby, cry. Make your mother sigh. You're old enough to get better. Cry, baby,
I had to
cry.
ask, why was he crying?
Is that a
I mean,
Beatles song?
Did he really expect to beat him? Just saying. I mean,
All right. How much weight do you really put in it? Are you gonna wake up tomorrow morning and just wait to watch freaking Sissy Boy maybe not be hurting play whoever?
Oh, my back hurts.
Oh.
Hold on. But I gotta play because I gotta make money.
Yeah, you remember that song by
I need it for Badoza. She needs, the Gucci, and
Yeah.
she needs.
Dude, hey, do you?
She needs, what are the big brands here?
There was a song, and she was like a Southern rapper. I think her name was Trina or something. And she would go, my neck, my back, my neck, my back.
No, he needed extra money. He had to buy
Yeah.
some good stuff.
He got that neck and back.
Yeah.
Oh, Amir Joker. Center has a more complete game than Alcaraz. Hopefully, he will dominate him in the future. Great comment. I'm not a big Alcaraz fan at all.
I like him, but he grunts a lot.
We were just watching a match before we came live, and it just started. And the first ball he hit a win. The first point, love. Okay, ball in. Here he goes. Hits a forehand winner. He's like, come on, first point. I'm like, dude, it's the first point. Shut up.
Vamos.
Vamos.
Where's the red lips?
It's like, man, Nadal already did this, bro. So the problem with
And the coach is like,
see, this is what happened with Dimitrov. Dimitrov jumped on the scene, and he was like baby Federer. He tried to emulate Federer.
but at least he's won 2 slams.
Well, yes, I get it, but I think Alcaraz is like trying to emulate Nadal.
He doesn't have Nadal's game, in my opinion.
Man.
There's only one Nadal, just like there's one Djokovic and one Federer. One Sampras, one Agassi. You can't repeat that.
All right, squashing this topic. Does anyone know if the Asian swing, the Chinese swing, post the Shuai Peng disappearance, does anyone know if that's just null and void? Did I miss anything? I don't know. I was just curious about that today.
Jean says Steve's assignment, the WTA president said that they had communication with her and Peng is being kept safe but can't speak freely. That's
Who said
what
that?
I heard. Jean,
thank you for that. That's a quite an interesting thing.
Will he win a slam? I don't know, Jean. Sinner could win a slam. If Alcaraz did it, why can't he? It's just going to be tough. But
all right, shifting gears, next subject. Let's go to Sissy Boy, Sissy Ass for a moment. And I say this because, again, you've already mentioned the comment in a way, but you were speaking with Coach Pantovic, a fellow Serbian player, our coach as well. And he was, I think, a little bit like,
why did you even
WTF? Why do you even play?
Yeah, let the other guy play.
So we're making reference to Tsitsipas is now 0-2, I think, in group play at the ATP Finals. And he's all hurting, but he was uncomfortable beforehand. I don't know what the exact number is. Maybe someone can put it in the poll in the chat. But I think some of these players, I think all of them that make the final get a couple $100,000, if not more, for every match that they play in. And then I think a little bit more if they win. Don't quote me there. I'm just shooting from the hip. But I guess people have alluded to, dude, why are you even playing? There's a bunch of people that could have used that money. But at the same time, look who would have been the next in line to qualify. Probably someone still that,
Isn't her catch? Her catch is a great player.
Yeah, I like her. I like her catch more than I like the Polish player. He's Polish, right?
I think he's Polish.
Because Polish. Yeah. I like her catch the pole.
Hungarian or Polish?
I think he's Polish.
Polish,
but
yeah.
I like him better than Tsitsipas. But
what does Badosa see in Tsitsipas?
A young boy with
kind of soft,
kind of an objective outlying attitude.
Boy.
But the problem is what happens when a real soldier girl meets a guy that, he's super handsome, super nice, he's so cute, something she's not used to. Oh, he's so nice to me. He's so nice. He's so handsome. He's so cute. He always looks out for my well-being, and he buys me these little gifts. But what happens when the novelty wears off and they need a real man in their life and they need someone that could be like, come on, girl, you got to listen up. Let's go. Let's get this done. Come on, let's go. Could you see like Carla was upset. She was like, man, I just had a bad day. Could you see Sissy Potts coming over to Badosa and be like, you got this, girl. Come on, let's go. Or do you think it would be like, or she would be like, okay, no. Come on, Fusevich, where are you at? Tell me that. Fusevich, tell me that. Where are you at, Burdage? Tell me that.
Yeah.
No, you tell me that.
I'll switch in a second.
Get lost, man. You can't motivate me. You're too cute. Okay, come on.
There's nothing wrong with being too cute.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of guys that are too cute, but at the same time, a lot tougher, you know?
Sissy Potts was always distracted with daddy on the sidelines. Then he kicked dad off because he blasted him with a tennis racket and made him bleed. And he didn't get kicked out like Djokovic
I
did
wonder
at
if
the
they
US
get
Open.
into a fight, does he go running to daddy?
I don't know. Okay, so. Sissy Potts and Badosa meet. You know, it's already a distraction when you got the parents around all the time. It's more of a distraction when a hot girl. I don't think you think Badosa's that hot. I think she's pretty good.
She's a pretty girl.
You know, but then you get this in a young man's life that otherwise has been in a tennis shell his whole life. So when you're a tennis player at that level, you haven't had a lot of freedoms, and then you get to the point where you have the entourage and the money to have your freedoms, and then you don't quite know how to really channel that. Happens to a lot of NFL players when they get their millions and they're on their own. They don't know how to spend it, and they end up being broke as shit type thing. I don't think Sissy Potts has to worry about that, but I do think that Sissy Potts has been double distracted. A, with his parents. B, with Patrick Mouratoglou. Patrick Mouratoglou is nothing more than an internet sensation, and the only reason why he became an internet sensation in the first place is because of Serena Williams. And mind you, I don't think Patrick Mouratoglou is a bad coach. I just feel a little bit differently about him once I realized that he's charging $5,000, $7,500 an hour to be on the court with him. I'm like, dude, there's nothing on God's green earth that you can tell me I'm going to pay $7,500 an hour for. I don't care if I was about to spend life in prison. And I'm not necessarily unexperienced from these type of accusations. I would not spend $7,500 an hour for anything at all, for any reason, unless it was like what?
A trip?
Or sometimes I hear that cancer
vacation.
Sometimes I hear that cancer already has a cure, but they don't allow it to be cured because there's too many billions or trillions of dollars.
Did you guys hear about this new X-ray machine from head to toe? They put you in for $2,500. They scan your whole body. And they could tell you they find stuff, so to stop it before it becomes cancer.
Hey, but you know what? Insurance don't cover it, and it's like 27 million an X-ray.
And no, it's actually 2,500. But
all right, we'll go.
But
2,500.
There's only a certain amount of people they're taking. Like it's whatever.
$2,500 in this world we live in today. 2,500, whether it's euros, whether it's pesos, whatever. That's a lot of money. Most people live check. Believe me, I know.
Yes.
We know, and most people are hoping to get through the next month. And then you want to throw out some, oh my gosh, if you take this X-ray, it'll tell you if you have cancer growing now and save your life. Disclaimer at the bottom: if you're broke, don't apply. You're fucked. That's the truth.
One more vote came in. Shelton leads the poll now.
Let's go. All right. Well, Shelton took the lead. 56%.
I'm gonna have to vote on my other account.
Yeah. All right. Enough about Sissy Boy, Sissy Pass. Next segment, and this will be a quick one. Every year we end up with the end of the year number one. Sonego, right? Djokovic. Remember this? Okay. The year ending number ones as of now are Iga Swiatek and Novak Djokovic, aka Joker Noel. Are they reality? In other words, are they fitting? Is there a conspiracy here?
No, the right people ended up as number one. Absolutely.
Right people are here. Now, can I tell you someone that did not have a rightful ownership to that number one? Let's rewind a minute. VHS rewind cassette. You can hear that shit rewind. Let's rewind. Marcelos Rios. What's up, Marcelos Rios?
Never want to say him, right?
And if you could have thrown a female in there, Wozniacki could have been one, but she finally won that Australian. Otherwise, Wozniacki would have been in the same damn conversation of the player that was number one.
Sabina was number one too, and number one.
Now, I mentioned Marcelos Rios because we talked about him ad nauseum on this show, kind of like the Spanish version of Hewitt that just never got to the Ukrainian version of Dolgopolov type thing. So you guys remember Alexander Dolgopolov, her boy? Okay, so little spunky, funky Dolgopolov. So if you go back 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago when we started doing this, we talked about Marcellus Rios, one of the greatest players that finished #1 but could never crack through the major. I found a picture of him today. Do you have that picture? I sent it to you text message.
Yes, I do.
This is a picture of Marcellus Rios. You remember he had like the shaved head around the sides and a long ponytail. He was #1 in the world. He was winning all these tournaments in the major. He could never do it. What's up, Marcellus Rios? Can I see that? Boom. Sup, Marcellus? Let's go. It's ripped up. You see? Yeah, he's not that lean tennis build anymore, but homeboy was #1 in the world. Peace. Okay, what am I getting at? He was a monster. He was #1 in the world. He played so many tournaments. Okay, now I'm gonna ration this into junior tennis. Junior tennis. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old.
Yeah.
We see players all the time that play a million tournaments. They play one every weekend. This week, next week, next week, next week. And the player doesn't win very many of them. They win maybe one or two and a few. But they don't give any time between one tournament and the next tournament to practice what was it that they didn't win the tournament for in the first place. So I'll speak about my own youngest son.
Well, yeah, I tell some of my students they're playing I'm like, why are you doing
like
that?
my son just kicked your ass last week.
No, but there's
and you haven't had time to improve, and he's not the best one around, and you're gonna go play another tournament. Like,
but
when does practice come into
I have
it?
a couple of students. I'm like, why are you guys playing tournaments again? Like, you just played one. Let's focus on what we need to work on.
Let's practice. Let's get better. So for us personally, for our own children, if we play a tournament and we don't win that shit, we're going to have a long talk afterwards of why, and we're going to work on that. And the next time we play,
they're in trouble, Justin.
They're not in trouble, but we talk about why. They're not in trouble, but we talk about why, and we address those things immediately, even if it means going to practice right after the match completes. Now, I did it with my dad ad nauseum. What's up, Dad? Talk about it. We haven't because they've won most of the tournaments they have. But I'm going to talk about my youngest son. That's 8. He just turned 8. He's a fine young player, but look, it doesn't matter what happens in 8 and 10s and 12. It doesn't matter. How many of the best players in the world didn't start until they were 10, 11?
I started at 11.
So what I'm getting at is the desire to travel to Tennessee, to Georgia, to Arkansas, to Louisiana with the 10-year-old that didn't win, or an 8-year-old or 9-year-old that didn't win the last tournament a week ago, that got hammered. And then you're going to go drive to freaking Arkansas or wherever and play another tournament this week? Like, how did they get better? Better be lucky my son isn't playing that again, because he'd whip his ass again in Arkansas. So what I'm saying is like, when do we stop thinking as this is a way for me as a parent to go have a good time and focus on myself? And when do we start thinking about why in the hell am I driving there, and have they gotten any better since they got their ass kicked last time? And that's how we kind of approach every tournament. Plain and simple.
I mean, for me to travel somewhere and spend
that money,
I have to believe that they practice a lot and that they're capable of winning. Like I tell every student we have, you guys think you see tennis here in Alabama or Mobile area. I played in New York and I played in Florida.
California.
The Florida teams would destroy the top high school team here.
Yeah.
And just, I'm sure, like many Europeans and many Spanish players, they come here and they dominate because the tennis is a lot tougher over there. I mean, you travel when you're good, when you're really good.
Yeah.
Like I told Justin, if Justin keeps winning, then we need to travel a little bit outside, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's push it, and then let's see how he does.
But at the end of the day, he's 8.
Right. We're not going to do a lot.
Who gives a shit? What happens when he's 8?
We're not going to do a lot of
Okay,
that.
if he's 16 and unders, starting to put together his college application video, then let's talk about it.
But he does need it for, because I was reading, there's a guy that we follow. There are some kids that are like 12 and already 8, 9, 10 UTR, and that's what they need for a college scholarship.
Yeah.
The UTR is very important. They're already at the UTR that you need for colleges already to start looking at you. So there's like a little Mo tournament that I do want to put him in, just to see how he does against other 10-year-olds.
Yeah, now think about it from a tactful mindset. As a coach, or whether you're a player or not. Let's look at a player like Karatsev. Do you remember the player Karatsev that came out of nowhere? He got hot for a little while. Why it wasn't that a player like Karatsev had a very successful couple of years? Because he didn't have video for people to check. He wasn't practicing with Djokovic and Federer, and he was just he was an unknown guy getting out of challenges and making it into the scene. So no one knew his game. So we have people all the time. Hey, can my son or daughter hit with your son or daughter? We have 5 kids, so pick one. And we try to reserve that. We try not to do so if it's someone that is their peer that's anywhere close by, because we don't want them to learn their game, right? I would rather have it shock and awe than I know their game. So what I'm getting at is playing these tournaments all the time, every week, and they're not winning those every week, you know, and they're not expanding the horizons. They keep playing them.
That's why our kids they don't have high rankings, because they don't play that many tournaments.
Yeah, so and I'm picking on my own kids. So Liliana, our 2 older sons are at the Air Force Academy, out of the picture in terms of tournaments as a junior. But our oldest daughter, Liliana, is 14. I think her record, you can go look it up, USTA or UTR or whatever. I think her record is something like 26-2. I think she just lost like 2 matches, I think.
Well, this year she only played 15.
And she won like
13-2.
But she won like 2 or 3 tournaments. Anyway,
15,
you can look it up. It's public knowledge. Our next daughter, Gabriella, who just turned 11, played the last tournament and lost for the 2nd year in a row in the semifinals, splitting sets in a tiebreaker in which she had match points. So she had match points last year and this year. Anyway, whatever. And then little Justin, our youngest, has won like, what, 4 or 5 tournaments in a row. It's to the point where, like, you know, let's just let him, you know, practice or bring him elsewhere, because it's just,
he's gonna play the same kids.
Yeah, it's just, so the only thing that's happening is he's playing the same kids, and he's handling that. But it seems like when he plays them, they might get an extra game or something. Anyway, but why would you want to keep giving would-be opponents a look at his tennis toolbox? No, thank you. I mean, the thing is I can play with him. You can play with him. Liliana can play with him. Gabriella can play with him.
And all the other
Jonathan
adults.
and Christopher
And
can play with
adults.
him. And every other adult. So why do I want him playing with someone that I'm going to pay him prize money if he beats? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, anyway, Marcelos Rios, by the way, was the last player on the men's side that I can remember that got to be #1 in the world that never won a major. Can you name another one? I was going to say Ferrero, but he won 2.
He never got to #1.
No, but then
Ferrer never got to
Ferrer. Yes, not Ferrer. Ferrer.
He never got to #1.
Nicholas Almagro, no. I think Almagro got top 5, 6.
Never won.
Another Spanish player. If you guys don't remember Almagro, he had the one-handed backhand. Spaniard with the one-handed.
Sanga was #1. Burdich was #1.
Did Feliciano Lopez have a one-handed backhand?
Yes, he still does.
He does have a one-hander lefty?
Yeah.
Handsome guy, too. Okay, Pete Sampras' wife, by the way, shout out to her. She's dealing with ovarian cancer. We hope the best for her. And I say that because I really understand the devastation of cancer. My sister passed away 2 years ago with breast cancer. So Pete Sampras, hopefully everything goes well with his wife, who has stood behind him for many, 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 many years, right? Her name is, what's her name?
Brittany.
I forget the name. Anyway, but we wish her well. All right, last topic to finish the show. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget Technifiber, Y-Tech Strings, Diadem Sports, Lacoste. Everyone is on the table to make 2024 the majors a really, really big prize give out. Bridget Wilson, yes. But make sure you subscribe for that. It's free. And then during majors, we always, every show that we do, we find a way to give out stuff to random people in the chat, but just make sure that you're subscribed. Anyway, best and worst of the year 2023. Best and worst. So in other words, your best moments on or off the tennis court and your worst moments on and off the tennis court. Doesn't matter if it's tennis related or not. Best and worst. You want me to start so you can think? Best of the year. The last tennis tournament our kids played, as well as our students. We had our son Justin win the boys 10 and unders with a stacked draw. He was given the hardest players in the first round, the next possible hardest players in the second round, the next possible players in the third round. It was fact because the person that made it to the final on the other side of the draw was a freaking joke, and he beat everybody with some bagels in there. Anyway, so good job for him. That was the best. Doesn't matter how the draw stacked up. It just makes the draws makers look like freaking idiots, and it's very transparent. And anyone that keeps up with tennis, namely coaches or other parents that have spent their lives going to tournaments, they look at the rankings too, and they're not dumb. Hey, I see the draws. It's pretty freaking apparent that they stacked the draw up against you, people from the same club. Okay, anyway, the worst of the year. All right, there's quite a few of them, but I'm going to go worst of the year, and I had a couple to think about, right?
Oh, us like tennis, or like us at the
on
club?
on or off the court. It could be ATP. It could be, for me, the best besides was Djokovic finally surpassing Nadal. Like finally surpassing him. You know, Djokovic has done it on a plethora of surfaces, and Nadal just kind of did it on one. If you take away all those French Opens, what he's got, like,
Yeah, but he deserves it. I mean,
I'm not taking it away from him. I'm just saying, Djokovic, you know, he had like 9 or 10.
I think the worst, like not our tennis flag, but the worst is seeing the no Russian flag on the thing to me still to this day, and players not shaking hands. That would be the worst to me.
There you go.
That had to be the worst in the tennis world. And then the worst for us at the club, the Heat. The Heat was the worst this year.
Yeah, the Heat.
That was bad.
The Heat's been rough. The worst being, so she's making reference to the worst for her is when you see the likes of Svitolina and Kostyuk,
I don't like it
and
at all.
these Belarusian or Russian players, and you're watching the match. There's no flag next to their name, and people like Sabalenka and Medvedev and all these other players and Rublev are just getting pissed on because, you know, they were born, or, you know, their parents are from a certain place, even though they have no ties to it.
That's the worst.
Yeah, it's kind of the worst. You know, it's a shit sandwich, and they didn't even do anything. Kind of like, I won't get geopolitical anyway, but there's a lot of that. There's a lot of people dying and being taken advantage of in the world today that have zero to do with any of it. No need to get specific. You can read between the lines, but it's everywhere. And what better way to get all that bias out of the equation than to play the game of tennis? And every time we play the game of tennis these days, namely watch it, we're seeing rackets smash, people getting chunky, Pillsbury Doughboy, Ostapenko, Raducanu, who, all this stuff. Final take, be kind, because everyone you meet's fighting a tough battle. And if you're going to walk on the tennis court, don't act like a schmuck. Just fight, battle, do your best. And you know what? Shake hands to the net. And then let's get outside the fence, give each other a hug, friends again, and let's go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Like, subscribe. Don't forget, 2024 Australian Open. Prize is going out big time.
Looking forward to Osaka coming back.
Oh, yes. Osaka coming back. What type of chance does she have? Start that comment thread in the chat. What chances does Osaka have? And furthermore, let's add a little fun on top of this. Does Serena Williams come back and play a major in 2024?
I don't think so.
Does Serena Williams come in as a wild card, maybe for the U.S. Open?
No, Venus needs to stop taking this.
Watch out.
All right, guys.
All right, peace out. Much love. Don't forget to practice, and don't forget to take a little break and practice before you play tournament after tournament. It'll help you.
Yep. Bye-bye.